Hello everyone, we are talking about how the Attorney General of the state of California, Rob Bonta, announces a new grant application to help sheriff's departments seize weapons from prohibited persons. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff in today's video when it comes to the armed prohibited persons system and how the state of California and the Department of Justice is actively going out and looking for people who are allegedly free but are prohibited persons, preventing them from being able to legally own a firearm that they legally acquired, and then something happens in their life, maybe they commit a crime, and now they're a prohibited person. This is the department that we've talked about before that goes out and attempts to take those firearms from those people who apparently are safe enough to be in society, but not safe enough to have a firearm. Before we get going though, I do want to say thank you to everyone that supports this channel. My Instagram was recently deleted. Hopefully we'll get that back, but in the meantime, I have a backup which should be linked down in the pinned comment or in the description below. I want to say thank you to everyone that just continues to like, comment, subscribe on these videos. I really appreciate it, and it helps out in the algorithm. Thank you. So we're going to switch over here and we see this article, Attorney General Bonta announces new grant application. So now we got the contact information there, but California Attorney General Rob Bonta today announced the opening of the application period for gun violence reduction program grants. What a mouthful. Funding will be awarded by the California Department of Justice to county sheriff's departments to support their activities related to seizing weapons and ammunition from individuals prohibited from possessing them. Sheriff's departments may submit a completed grant proposal to the DOJ through November 5th of 2021. Now, when it was deployed in 2006, the California Department of Justice Armed and Prohibited Persons Systems, or APPS, was a first-of-its-kind system used to monitor individuals who legally purchased or acquired firearms and later became prohibited from owning or possessing them, said Rob Bonta. Today, the system is still the only one of its kind nationwide. Together with our law enforcement partners, our agents help prevent and reduce incidents of violent crime by using APPS to locate and disarm prohibited persons. I wonder why it's the only program of its kind in the nation, and other states with registries that are equally anti-gun or more anti-gun haven't adopted a similar program. Our hope is that the gun violence reduction program will help us reduce the number of individuals on the APPS list faster by increasing our collective resources and capacity to assist in keeping our communities safe. The premise of the APPS system program is simply to enforce the law and remove guns from individuals who have lost their right to own a firearm. Can a free person lose their rights? That's my question for you. I commend Attorney General Bonta for working to quickly get this grant program up and running by recognizing the important role local law enforcement can play as a force multiplier. You heard it here, folks. They believe that your local law enforcement will be the ones that will be enforcing gun control. Feel free to disagree all you want, but it seems as if that is the general consensus here. This program will help recover firearms more quickly from domestic abusers and other prohibited persons. We talked about in my last video about how Gavin Newsom signed 7 anti-gun bills, how they will always hide these gun control efforts under the guise of let's protect the women. Let's protect women from their domestic abusers, and we're just going to go after the wife beaters, because who would want to defend the wife beaters? Well, that's just they're hiding what they actually want. What they actually want is the ability to have a equipped police force who is willing and able to take away the firearms from the people they don't want to have firearms. I encourage all county sheriffs to apply for this grant program and take a more focused role in disarming dangerous people in our communities. California has seen success with even the smallest counties using the state funds for APPS enforcement, and that is why I championed the expanded funding in the state budget. Funding for the GVRP was provided by the California Budget Act of 2021. A total of $10 million will be made available in 2 grant cycles. $10 million to local law enforcement who would wish to use that money to participate in the APPS system and go after people who are allegedly free people and take their firearms from them. I did a whole entire video talking about these are the cops who are coming for your guns. I believe was the title of that. If not, I will try to have a link to it down in the description. But in that video, it followed around several people from the DOJ Armed Prohibited Persons System team, the team of people that are supposed to, basically they have a list, right? There is a list of people who owned guns legally at one point in time, have them registered in their name, they commit a crime, go to jail, get let out of jail, and then the state's like, oh shit, we still have these guns registered in this guy's name and we just let him out of jail. And then eventually they decide to get around to going out and trying to find those people, get their guns from them, and take the guns away. In that video, we saw numerous failed attempts to even find the person. Now, I don't know much about how police track people, but I do know that it's not that hard to look up in a database, make a phone call, and make sure that the person you're looking for actually lives at that address, because they went to several addresses that were no longer valid, and several people that they went to go look for, the reason the address was no longer valid was because that person was already booked in jail at a previous date. So, yeah, it almost seems like these departments are massive waste of money, aren't very good at their job, and their sole purpose is to disarm people who the government, by letting them out of jail, has determined that they should be safe to walk amongst us in society. Some of you might be thinking, well, Reno, does that mean that you want to give guns to people that are violent and dangerous? No, I want people that are violent and dangerous to not be let out for bullshit reasons. But apparently that's too much to ask for in the state of California. Now, we also saw in that same video multiple times where the firearms that they were looking for weren't there. They confiscated other firearms that were not registered to that person. And the guns that they did confiscate were pieces of shit. So they act as if, it was Officer Mr. Clean acting like he was puffing his chest. You never know which mass shooting you just stopped. You didn't. You didn't stop anything. All you did was confiscate a few Mos and Nagants and show up at the wrong address a few times. And that was the piece that they decided, yeah, run it. That looks good. That's a good look for us. But, maybe if somebody competent was put in charge, they would have been able to show up at the right address, maybe actually arrest the people that they were trying to go for, maybe get the guns that they were looking for, and just not be a total failure. But, it's the California Department of Justice, so I guess being a total failure, it goes hand in hand. Thank you to all those cops for being so inept at your job. $10 million to departments who apparently are not enforcing these laws, because in those videos they discuss how the APPS system list is getting longer and longer and longer, and they aren't able to, or they aren't actually going out and trying to confiscate those firearms from people who are prohibited persons. So they want to pay them to enforce the rules that they're not enforcing. Something about that just doesn't seem so right to me. The state of California is so ass backwards in so many ways, especially when it comes to the APPS system. There was one specific part that I wanted to mention here, and it talks about how they're going after and disarming these violent people. I'm not agreeing with these laws, but here's how, in my mind, as maybe I just don't know enough, maybe I'm not stupid enough to understand the state of California's logic, but so let's say me. I own guns. I have several firearms that are registered in my name in the state of California. I commit a crime that makes me a prohibited person. The state of California knows that I have those guns, right? They're going to take me to jail. With their logic, they're just going to not worry about the guns. Yeah, whatever guns we happen to stumble upon while we're arresting you, we might snag. And then there might be a list of, 500 more guns that they might be looking for. I go to jail. Still, they're not concerned about those other guns. I get out of jail. They might be a little bit concerned about those guns. Few years down the road, DOJ agents show up at your door saying, hey, I'm looking for Reno. But they say, Reno hasn't lived here in several years, or Reno was arrested yesterday. And then they fail to do their job then. And then they go inside and they take a few firearms that weren't even the guns on the list, and they call it a win. That's how it seems like it works. My thought process is, if they're gonna try to enforce those laws, why didn't they just get all those guns in the first place from that dangerous person? It just makes absolutely no sense. It's never been about safety. It has never been about protecting you. All the people that are going to comment down below like, oh, if they broke the law, they should be punished for it. The punishment for a crime is going to jail. When you determine that someone is a free person and no longer a threat to society, and you let them out of jail, at that point, they are a free person who should have the rights of a free person. They did the crime, they did the time, And if you're going to let them out, why would you let a violent, dangerous person out? Now, if they're so dangerous that if we let them out and they gained access to those firearms, it'd be a massive threat to society, why are we not just not letting them out? Dangerous people and violent people do not need to follow the law because the things that they wish to do are inherently outside of what the law allows or doesn't stop you from doing. So if these people are going to be so violent, so dangerous, why are we letting them out of jail? Let me know what you guys think down below. I rambled on a little bit in this video, but if you would like to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, I would really appreciate it. New Instagram link down in the description. If you want to use any of the links in the description, they are affiliate links. It'll help me, help the channel. Thank you, everyone. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.